Hello, my dear learners. You are once more welcome to another English language lesson on writing. Today, in this lesson, we are going to focus on parts of an informal letter. I hope that you have come with your exercise book and your pen to jot important points. You should be very focused in this lesson because knowledge from this lesson will help you to improve on your written communication skills in the English language. If you are ready, let us take a revision exercise. Number 1, name 5 modern means of communication. Nowadays, how do people communicate? How do people send information from one place to another? Can you think that fast? I know you are a smart learner. Good. Let's see what you've listed. Are you done? Okay. Here we have 5 modern means of communication are the telephone, the television, the radio, emails, letter writing. Did you mention any other one that I didn't write here? Good job. If you had any of these, give yourself a tick for each correct answer. 2. Imagine you are sick and living far away from your parents. You do not have a telephone or there is no network available. What can you do to inform your parents? Okay, many ideas. Let's check what we have here. Somebody said, I will write a letter to my parents informing them that I am sick. That is good. You can equally send verbal information through another person who is going to meet your parents. But it is good to write a letter so that it will be exactly as you have written, because written history, you know, is the best form of history. And when you write something, it's permanent. Nobody can change your words. That's good. So, in this lesson today, this lesson going on now, you should be very attentive, because if you follow up attentively and do the activities, by the end of the lesson, you will define an informal letter and say all the parts correctly. And 2, you will explain how the various parts are structured. Good. Are you with me? Let's move on. So, what is an informal letter? What is an informal letter? An informal letter is a letter that is written to a friend, a relative, or any person you are acquainted to. That is, you write informal letters to people you are used to them, the people you know them and you interact with them regularly, like your relatives, your friends, or your classmates. Now, what are the parts of an informal letter? An informal letter has the sender's address. For you to write an informal letter, you must write your address. Your address is written at the top right side of the page. It contains the sender's name, the post box, the street address, the school address, and the telephone. Yes, because the person writing the letter must identify the self. Number 2, the date. The date on which you write the letter must appear on the right side of the page, just below the address. Good. The third thing to do is the salutations. It is written at the top left side of the page below the date. So when you have written the date on the left side below your address, you now move to the right just below the date, but on the right side, you write the salutation. And what can that salutation be? You can say, dear mama, dear father, dear auntie, dear friend, dear Lema, etc. And the fourth point is the body. When you give your salutation, you go directly into the body of your letter. And the body of an informal letter takes the form of a paragraph explaining the reason why you are writing the letter. It can be one paragraph or more paragraphs. Remember that a paragraph is centered on one major. Then when you have finished to explain why you are writing the letter, you now have a closing. This is to show that you have ended the letter, and it is written below the body on the right side. You shift a little inside and write your closing. And you can say, your lovely daughter, Helen, your lovely son, Ngwa. You can equally say your best friend, or you can say your classmate. Now, you have to sign out. You have to sign your signature, and it is signed below the closing. When you say your lovely daughter, you'll say your name and the signature. Good. I hope you were with me. Let's see how it will look like on a template. You see that on the top right hand, we have the sender's address, number 1. Number 2, you have the date. Number 3, you have the greetings or the salutation. Number 4, you have the body. 5, the conclusion. And 6, the signature. This is the layout of an informal letter. We have on the top right of your paper the sender's address, that's number 1. Number 2, the date. Number 3, on the right, the left now. On the left now, the greetings or the salutation. Then you come in the middle of the page, you centralize the body, the reason why you're writing your letter. Then you go below, you give the conclusion, and you give the signature. So, my dear friends, I hope that you have mastered these parts. Let's now do an exercise to show that we are understanding. So, list 6 parts of an informal letter. List 6 parts of an informal letter chronologically. 6 parts of an informal letter are the sender's address, the date, the salutations or greetings, the body of the letter, the conclusion, and the signature. That's good. I hope you had that in that order. Activity number 2, explain the meaning of the following. Sender's address, what is it? Date, what is it? Body, what is it? You have 1 minute to do that. Pause the video and do that. Correct answer. The sender's address, that is, your address is written at the top right side of the page. The address of the person who is writing the letter. It contains the sender's name, the post box, the street address, the school address, and the telephone number. Then, the date. It is the date on which your letter is written. It is written on the top right side of the page below the address. That's good. And the body of an informal letter takes the form of a paragraph explaining the reason why you are writing the letter. Good job. I know you had correct points. So, before you go, dear friend, remember that in this lesson you have learned that an informal letter is a letter that is written to a friend, a relative, or any person you are acquainted to, a person you are used to. Then, the 6 parts of an informal letter chronologically are the sender's address, the date on which the letter is written, the salutations or the greetings, the body of your letter, the conclusion, and the signature. And it has an appropriate layout, which we saw in our lesson. Thank you for being very active in this lesson, and I hope that you will take more independent practice and do well to follow up by reading from textbooks, listening to the audio lessons, or reading through the print lessons. Equally, you will have to practice how to write an informal letter so that you master it very well. I will be happy to meet you in the next lesson. Do well to come with your pen and your exercise book to note important points. Until then, bye-bye.